How's it going, everybody? This is AfroDJMac, and I want to show you my new pack called Subs. Subs is a collection of powerful low-end bass instruments for Ableton Live. There are a total of 20 different presets of bass instruments, and the Subs device is made up of 30 different sub-oscillators that I sampled from analog synthesizers and digital synthesizers. So this should be like the go-to device you use when you want sub-bass in your music. And right now I've got the init patch. This is the initialized patch. And what you're hearing is just a clean digital sine wave. And you can see these are some low frequencies. You're really going to need some headphones or good quality speakers to hear these sounds that are coming out of subs. So the first thing we have is our sub selector. And what you're going to notice is with every single different number, I get a different sub. And they all have like kind of a little bit of character. Some are a little brighter, and some are a little more mellow. So there are 30 of these to play around with. And again, I'm going to go back to the init patch because this is the cleanest one of them all. As you can see, it's really just about the real low end here. Now we've got a low pass filter, which is not going to do a lot to this sound. It does add a little bit of resonance in there. We've got a glide control, so you can glide your notes into one another. Bring that back down. And we've got an FM oscillator. Now this is where you're going to be able to add some nice tones and harmonics to your sound. So you can hear that we're getting a little more of a growl coming in. And you'll notice on our EQ display, we can see those frequencies climb in as we add the volume. We've got the tuning of the oscillator. And we've also got the shape of the waveform, which will drastically change our sound. Now, this is where our low pass filter is going to come in handy. Once we start adding in these frequencies from our FM oscillator, we can filter out some of the top end. And then we've got an LFO, which is modulating the volume of our FM oscillator. And we can change the waveform of that LFO. You get some cool like plucking and pulsing sounds. So as you can hear, there's quite a lot of variation possible in these sounds. I'm going to bring our sub back so we get our pure init setting again. Because the next thing I want to show you are some of the effects. So the first of our effects is the Monosubs FX High rack. And what this rack is doing is splitting up our sound into upper frequencies and sub frequencies. And when we look inside, we can see our sub frequencies are separated by the EQ3, only letting the lows go through, and we have everything going mono. So this is going to control our bass and keep it in mono, which will kind of clean things up a little bit. And then our upper frequencies are where we put our effects on. So we've got some saturation, chorus, a delay, and we can hear, as we start playing around, we can have ourselves some saturation. And as that gets loud, we can also attenuate the volume a little bit with the output if we don't want as much saturation. But you're hearing we're getting some frequencies, and we can see those coming in too. As I raise the drive, we get some extra harmonics. We've got some chorus, and we can play around with our rate. Now this is very subtle on our init patch, but if we start maybe adding in some FM frequencies. Turn down our LFO. All right, we'll play around with that. The chorus. Now notice how our bass, though, stays unaffected. We still get those really strong sub frequencies. And then we've also got a delay. And the bass again. You can see it's not affected. It drops off and the delay is only on the upper frequencies. So this can be useful if you want to just add a little extra dimension to your bass sounds. Now let me show you the other effect that we have here, which is our speaker breaker. This is a fun effect. This is for pure destruction. And what speaker breaker is doing is really just adding a bunch of different distortions. Again, I've separated the subs out so that the upper frequencies are the only thing affected, and I've got a host of different distortions on there. And they're all kind of mixed up. So as we move one control, this is our normal patch. I'll turn that off so you can hear what we're starting with. Let's again start with our init. So I'm going to take off any FM oscillation on here. So you just get that pure low bass sound. And now we'll turn on our speaker breaker. So you notice if I play the really low notes, since this is the init, we're not even getting any effect going through yet. So maybe what we'll do is select a different sound. That will do. Got our drive. Turn that back down. We've got rattle. Here, almost like the speaker rattling. Crack. Smash. So these sometimes all interact, so you might have to turn up one to get a little more out of the other. Got dirt. Blast. And a crush. So now we're really starting to get the effect of a blown speaker. And the way these different knobs interact is kind of interesting, because if we look inside the mappings, you'll see that each control has a couple different parameters mapped to it. So that's going to mean as you turn one thing, it will affect the way the other ones react. And that's part of the fun, is just to kind of learn and explore, see what you get. So you get some pretty harsh basses with this particular audio effect rack, and you can use this on anything, not just bass, but it's especially fun on bass. So that's the subs pack. Really happy with this. I think it's a really handy tool for getting some nice low end into your tracks. I'll turn these effects off. Just on its own, this serves a function that I think many of us do over and over again, adding low end into our tracks. And this is a nice variety of different styles of sub oscillators from a variety of different synths. So I hope you find this useful. I think it's going to be something I use quite a lot. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's adding a lot of power to my sounds. So thanks for checking out subs. Take care.